Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua by Hashem Rakapadash. Double honors to my apostles, to the elders of Great Millstone. Much peace and love to all the brothers doing this work in truth and sincerity. Give me 1 second. Pull up this leprosy skin. Okay, so better trying to get a nice imagery of leprosy so you can understand what leprosy really is. Okay, this is examples of leprosy. This picture and this one on the right. These are examples of leprosy. Without further ado, I'm going to get right into the lesson. This is Leviticus chapter 13, verse 29. It says, if a man or woman have a plague upon the head or the beard, the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry scald, even a leprosy upon the head or beard. Because, you know, some people have leprosy real bad and it actually changes their hair. It says, and if the priest look on the plague of the scald, and behold, it is not in sight deeper than the skin, and that there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall shut him up, and he hath the plague of the scald 7 days. And in the 7th day the priest shall look on the plague, and behold, if the scald spread not, and there be in it no yellow hair, and the scald be not in sight deeper than the skin, he shall be shaved. Then the scald shall he not shave, and the priest shall shut him up at the scald 7, at him that hath the scald 7 more days. So if you had this condition, which we call leprosy, man, it was a curse. You know, it was if you have a yellow hair, you know, you're basically unclean according to the scripture. So you tell me why the Lord sent his son back with the skin disease called leprosy, man. Why would he send his son back, a so-called white man? Why? That's leprosy. If you look at this guy in this picture and look at this skin complexion, that's leprous. It's leprosy, man. Look at this. Leprosy. This is leprosy according to the scriptures. So it absolutely makes no sense for Yahweh to send Yahweh with the skin curse of leprosy. Verse 35, it says, but if the scald spread much in the skin after his cleansing, then the priest shall look on him, and behold, if the scald be spread in the skin, the priest shall not seek for yellow hair. He is unclean. So you are unclean if you have a yellow hair or you have leprosy, especially yellow hair. But if the scar be in the sight at all at a stay, and that there is black hair growing up therein, the skull is healed. He is clean, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. If a man also a woman have in the skin of their flesh bright spots, even white bright spots, then the priest shall look, and behold, if the bright spots in the skin of their flesh be darkish white, it is a freckled spot that groweth in the skin, he is clean. And the man whose hair is fallen off his head, he is bald, yet he is clean. And he that hath his hair fallen off the part of his face, the forehead, he is clean. Let me get verse. I'm gonna jump down to verse 43. It says, "Then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the rising of the sore be whitish red in his bald head, or in his bald forehead, or as the leprosy appeareth in the skin of the flesh, he is a leprous man. He is unclean. The priest shall pronounce him utterly unclean. His plague is in his head. And the leper in whom the plague is, his clothes shall be rent, and his head bare, and he shall put a covering upon his upper lip, and shall cry, unclean, unclean. All the days wherein the plague shall be in him, he shall be defiled. He is unclean. He shall dwell alone without the camp. Without the camp shall his habitation be." So this is the judgment for someone that has the plague of leprosy on the skin. They can't be in the congregation, you know. The Lord said they can't be in the congregation. They got to be outside of the camp. They can't be inside of the camp with that skin disease called leprosy, man. You know. It says, verse 47, "The garment also that the plague of leprosy is in, whether it be a woolly garment or a linen garment, whether it be in a warp or woof or linen or woolen, whether it's in a skin or anything made of skin. And if the plague be greenish or reddish in the garment or in the skin, either in the warp or in the woof or in anything on the skin, it is a plague of leprosy, and shall be shewed to the priest. And the priest shall look upon it, the plague, and shut it up until he hath shut up it that hath the plague 7 days. He shall look on the plague of 7 days on the 7th day, and the plague he spread. If the plague be spread in the garment, either in the warp or in the woof or in the skin or in any other work that is made of skin, the plague is freeding leprosy, it is unclean." So I believe the point has been made concerning leprosy, man. You know, this is a skin cancer, basically a skin cancer, man. It's a skin disease, man. You know, leprosy is an infectious disease that causes severe deferring skin sores and nerve damage in the arms, legs, and skin areas around the body. The disease has been around since ancient times, often surrounded by terrifying negative stigmas. See, look, often surrounded by terrifying negative stigmas and tales of leprosy patients being shunned as outcasts. Now, who is the number one outcast on the earth? Who has the curse of leprosy and was completely an outcast? The Edomites. That was forced into the mountains, man. Because everybody hates this devil, man. Everybody hates the devil, man. That's like it. Everybody hates this devil, man. Everybody hates this devil. What's wrong with you Negroes, man? Okay. Okay. This is Numbers chapter 12. I'm going to start at verse 1. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married. For he was married to, and had married an Ethiopian woman. And they said, hath Yahweh indeed spoken only by Moses? Hath he not spoken only by us also? And the Lord heard it. Now the man Moses was very meek above all the men which were upon the face of the earth. And Yahweh spake suddenly unto Moses and unto Aaron and unto Miriam, come out ye three unto the tabernacle of congregation. And they three came out. And Yahweh came down in the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. And he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I Yahweh will make myself known unto him in vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the similitude of Yahweh shall he behold. Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against him, and he departed. And the cloud departed from upon the tabernacle. And behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. So the Lord cursed her. See, that right there tells you that that's a sin, because it's against the law to be leprous, man. You would be considered unclean if you was leprous, man. It's against the law. It's a sin, man. Okay, now the scripture says the man of sin. If leprosy is a sin, then who? Now let's go to the scripture in the New Testament, because that man of sin is being revealed, because he is sin. He looks like it, man. This is 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there be a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. So that's talking about Esau down to a T, because he's that man of sin. He is sin, man. He's the manifestation of sin, man. Look at his flesh. He's leprous, man. That right there shows you who that man in sin is. And he opposeth and exalted himself like he's God, man. You know, look. What's an example of that? Opposing himself that he's God. Look at this. Look at this bullshit. He opposing himself like he's God, man. This is blasphemy, man. It's a sin that can't be forgiven. That's why Christianity is dying, man. So Miriam became as white as snow. Okay, let's go to because you know people don't know their colors these days. You know, let's just go. What color is snow? You see how snow is? You know, it's white, clearly, you know. And they love to call themselves white, you know. But you're not white, you're actually red, man. You know. So, point of the lesson, man, Yahweh did not send his son back with the curse of leprosy. And for all you nigga women, so-called black women that love to wear blonde hair, y'all love to wear blonde hair, man. You know, this is like this is yellow hair. This is a curse, man. It's a curse. It's leprosy, man. It's a curse. A leprous woman couldn't enter the congregation. She had yellow hair, man. You're supposed to have black hair. That's how we got it, man. Black hair. All these damn colors in their heads and shit, man. The point of this lesson, man, Yahushua was a so-called black man. He was not a so-called white man with the skin disease of leprosy. He was a so-called black man, very austere, and let me give you an image of how Yahushua really looked. He was a so-called black man with a big woolly white beard, man. You know, because if you ever notice when an older man gets, you know, Jake when he gets old, he still got his beard and everything. His hairs and stuff turns white. You know, and that should tell you who he is as a person. Man. He's a so-called Negro, man. So with that, man, I'm gonna give all praises and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahushua by Hashem, Rakakwadash, that bonus to my apostle, to the elders, great millstone. Bless peace and love to all the brothers in his word and truth and sincerity. Shalom.